Listen, when you start living as if God Himself is alive inside you, something changes. Your voice gains weight, your posture straightens, and you stop waiting for permission to burn with passion. This isn't some motivational pep talk. This is a summons, a direct call to rise. If these words are reaching you right now, it's not by accident. It's because something deep in you has been whispering no, shouting that it's time. You've waited long enough. That silence you've been feeling, that restless energy that won't let you sleep, it's not confusion. It's a divine knock at the door of your soul. It's a command from within, telling you to stop living like you were overlooked. You weren't put here to shrink. You weren't dropped into this life to drift aimlessly. You were sent. And the one who sent you never apologizes for giving you power. When you finally grasp this truth, when it moves from your head to your bones, you won't just change. You'll transform. You'll become living proof of what purpose looks like in motion. So hear me now. The moment you believe you were sent, you stop walking like an ordinary man or woman. You begin walking like someone carrying a mission stamped by heaven itself. And that's why we're here today. Not to make you feel good for 10 minutes, not to give you a quick burst of motivation you'll forget by tomorrow. We're here to wake you up, to light a fire that refuses to go out, to hand you back the authority you've been giving away to fear, to doubt, to hesitation, because deep down you already know. You're not here to ask for permission to be great. You're here to walk in the authority you've had from the start. And the second you choose to act like it, heaven stops waiting too. You were never created to live small. You were never placed here to fade into the background. And you were definitely not sent into this life to play it safe, nod politely, and wait your turn. You were sent on purpose. And the one who sent you doesn't hand out half measures, doesn't apologize for giving you a voice that can move mountains, doesn't say sorry for the fire in your chest. This, right now, is not just a message. It's a summons. It's heaven leaning forward and saying, stand up, step forward, it's time. The man or woman who receives this with reverence, who doesn't just hear it once and move on, but studies it, revisits it, lets it sink so deep that it becomes a personal law, that person doesn't just shift a little. They become something else entirely. They become a walking example of purpose in motion, a living demonstration of clarity and strength, someone who carries themselves with quiet authority because they know they were sent to finish what heaven started. And here's the thing, the moment this truth lands in you, really lands, you will never walk the same again. No more walking like someone unsure of their right to be here. No more bowing to fear like it's your master. No more standing in the shadows, waiting for someone to tell you, it's okay now, you can go. The voice of purpose is calling you. It's not asking for your opinion. It's not waiting for you to feel ready. It's giving you a direct order. Step into what you were made to be. From this moment forward, you are no longer just another face in the crowd. You are the one who was sent. And that means something. It means your presence carries weight. It means your decisions have impact. It means you were born with the authority to move, to speak, to build. And if you obey that call, not just hear it, but obey it, you will never again be the person you were before this hour. From here on out, there's no more bowing to fear. No more letting doubt dictate your steps. No more standing on the sidelines while your purpose passes you by. This isn't advice. This isn't a motivational soundbite for your morning coffee. This is law. The kind of law that isn't written on paper but in your spirit. The kind that overrides every excuse you've been carrying around. Underneath the story you've been telling yourself, beneath the layers of hesitation, and maybe later, there's a truth that refuses to be ignored. You weren't created to drift. You weren't designed to merely get by. You were made to lead, to build, to command, not in arrogance, but in the quiet confidence of someone who knows exactly why they're here. See, when you start living by this law, you stop needing constant reassurance. You stop asking the world if you're allowed to move forward. You start acting as if the mission inside you was stamped and sealed by heaven itself. Because it was. And here's what happens when you do. The hesitation falls away. Your decisions get sharper. Your voice carries more weight. People feel it when you speak, because you're no longer operating from insecurity, you're operating from alignment. Alignment with the assignment you were given before you even took your first breath. Most people will never hear this. Even fewer will believe it. And almost no one will obey it. That's why so many live life like guests in their own story, instead of the main character. But you've been called to something higher. And that means you don't live like everyone else. You don't speak like everyone else. You don't think like everyone else. From this moment forward, every move you make will either honor or dishonor the one who sent you. So, ask yourself before you take the next step. Does this decision match the law you were born to live by? Because if it doesn't, you already know the answer. When a person truly lives as if God Himself is within them, everything changes. They can't be bought. They can't be manipulated. They can't be controlled by weak systems designed to keep people small. They walk differently. They speak differently. They build differently. And the moment that version of you shows up, the world as it is, the world built on confusion and fear, starts to crack. Here's why. Systems that thrive on keeping you doubtful, distracted, and dependent cannot survive a man or woman who knows who they are. That's why you won't find this truth in your school textbooks. It won't trend in the headlines. It's not going to be celebrated in the public square. Because once a person wakes up to the reality that heaven lives inside them, they become ungovernable by weakness. You stop caring about the noise around you. You stop waiting for people to agree with you before you move. You stop asking fear for permission to live your life. Instead, you move with a kind of authority that's hard to explain. Because it's not ego, it's not bravado, it's conviction. And that conviction? It's dangerous to the structures built to keep you playing small. When you act like God is within you, you no longer shrink to make others comfortable. You no longer edit your vision to make it more acceptable. You build exactly what you were sent here to build, and you do it without apology. And here's the thing, once you reach that place, people will notice. They might call it confidence. They might call it boldness. But you'll know the truth. It's alignment. It's purpose in motion. You become the kind of person who walks into a room and shifts the atmosphere without saying a word. Not because of your status. Not because of your resume. But because you carry the weight of someone who knows they're on assignment from heaven. And when you walk like that, weakness has no hold on you. The noise loses its power. And the world has no choice but to adjust. Let's be clear. Infinite intelligence isn't floating somewhere far above the clouds, waiting for a perfect moment to drop into your life. It's already here. It's already inside you. But here's the catch. It doesn't move until you do. You weren't designed to sit on the bench, watching life happen to you. You weren't built to drift along, hoping something changes. You weren't sent here just to survive. You were sent here to decide, to command, to act. And yet, most people don't. Not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they've been taught to wait for some kind of outside approval before taking the next step. Let me tell you, if you're waiting for that, you'll be waiting forever. The universe responds to movement. Faith responds to action. Purpose responds to obedience. When your words, your choices, and your habits all line up with the mission you were given, everything starts to shift. Doors you couldn't open before begin to move. Resources you thought you didn't have start showing up. Opportunities appear not because the world suddenly changed, but because you did. But here's the deal, this will only work if you commit. If you stop letting your mind wander into comparison, distraction, and overthinking. If you stop treating your purpose like an optional hobby, you have to listen with full attention. You have to take what you hear and put it into motion immediately. Because the line that changes your future might be the one you miss while scrolling, yawning, or doubting. The wise person hears the truth over and over until it becomes who they are. Until the idea "God is within me" isn't a nice phrase, it's a fact. Until the stance of someone who is sent becomes your natural way of standing in the world. You are not here to wait. You are here to build. You are not here to ask. You are here to decide. And the moment you act like it, Your life will start moving in a way it never has before. You need to understand this. You were not an accident. You weren't a random roll of the dice. You weren't some cosmic oops. You were placed here on purpose. And what put you here does not make mistakes. The infinite doesn't create failure. The source of all power doesn't send weakness. That means there's something in you right now that's bigger than your personality, bigger than your resume, bigger than the circumstances you were born into. It's something eternal, something divine, something that refuses to die until it's expressed through you. So why do so many people feel lost? It's not because they're unlucky. It's not because life's against them. It's because they've been ignoring that inner instruction. The voice that doesn't shout, but commands. Every time it speaks, they delay. Every time it calls, they negotiate. Every time they feel the fire, they smother it with fear. And when you live like that, you shrink. You become a spectator in your own life. You become a passenger in your own story. Let's be real, failure isn't your nature. Failure is what happens when you live out of alignment with your assignment. When you hear the call but choose comfort. When you sense the fire but cling to safety. There is a law that governs the rise of every man and woman. You must walk as if you were sent. Not with arrogance, not with ego, but with divine authority. You're not here to question whether you belong. You're here to build because you were chosen to build. You're here to lead because you were chosen to lead. So stop telling yourself you're too flawed. Every single person used by God was flawed. Stop telling yourself it's too late. The eternal doesn't run on your clock. And stop waiting to feel ready. Obedience has never required comfort. It only requires alignment. Because once you align, the power flows. The resources appear. The opportunities arrive, not because the world decided to bless you, but because heaven already did. Let me give you a picture of what this looks like in real life. Abraham Lincoln, not the legend you've read about in history books. I'm talking about the man before the title, before the fame. He wasn't the world's first choice. In fact, he was mocked, dismissed, written off more times than most people can handle. He lost elections, faced public humiliation, endured seasons where it seemed like every door slammed shut in his face. And yet, he obeyed the inner command. Lincoln didn't walk like a politician trying to win votes. He walked like a man who understood his mission was bigger than popularity polls. He didn't speak just to make people like him. He spoke because the truth inside him demanded to be spoken. His strength didn't come from clever strategy or political maneuvering. It came from moral fire, a fire placed in his chest by something greater than any human system. And here's the key. Lincoln didn't succeed because the timing was perfect or the world was ready for him. He succeeded because he walked as if destiny was moving with him. That's what alignment looks like. That's what obedience to purpose feels like. And I'm telling you right now, that same destiny will move with you if you do the same. You've got to stop treating the God within you like a poetic metaphor or a nice Sunday thought. It's not symbolic. It's not a warm idea to comfort you when life's rough. It is infinite intelligence, seeking expression through your thoughts, your words, your actions. It's the same power that placed you here. Not to wander, not to beg, not to drift, but to build, to lead, to decide. And that power? It's not waiting for your resume to improve. It's not waiting for your past to be erased. It's not even waiting for fear to disappear. It's waiting for one thing, for you to rise, align, and step into the role you were sent to play. All right, now it's time to get practical. Because purpose without practice fades. Fire without fuel dies. If you're serious about living as someone who was sent, you need a daily rhythm that locks this truth into your mind and body. Here's where it starts. Every single morning before the world gets a chance to speak into your life, you speak into your own. Out loud, not in your head, declare this. I was not made to wander, I was sent to walk in power. Don't just say it like you're reading a line. Say it like you mean it. Say it until your voice carries the conviction of someone who believes it. Then, every night before you close your eyes, repeat it again. I was not made to wander, I was sent to walk in power. You're not trying to convince the world, you're training your subconscious. Because your subconscious obeys whatever you speak with emotion and repetition, truth or lie. And if you've been speaking doubt for years, it's going to take repetition to rewrite the script. Now here's the second part. Write down your chief aim, the mission you've been given, and put it somewhere you'll see it daily. This is not just a goal. This is your divine instruction. It's your blueprint. And every action you take today must reflect the man or woman who was sent to fulfill it. No hesitation. No over-explaining. Just movement. Before you go to sleep, do a quick review. How did my actions today reflect the fact that I was sent? Where did I hesitate? Where did I act in alignment? This is how you keep yourself accountable without waiting for someone else to push you. And I promise the more you practice this, the less you'll need external motivation. Because it won't be a phrase anymore. It'll be your identity. You won't just say, "I was sent." You'll live it. Every word, every step, every decision will carry the weight of that truth. Let's settle something right now. Belief without movement is dead. If your actions don't match your faith, then you don't actually believe it. Waiting is not faith. Waiting is the silent agreement that you're not ready, that you're not enough, that maybe your purpose can sit on the shelf a little longer. You've been told to be patient. But patience without obedience is just procrastination wearing a nice outfit. The truth is simple. Action confirms belief. Waiting denies it. If you truly believe that God's power lives inside you, you don't just think about building, you start building. You don't just talk about the dream, you take the first step toward it. You don't wait for certainty, you move. And certainty shows up on the road. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle the moment you decide to move. Think about every breakthrough that's ever changed history. It started as nothing more than a vision, backed by movement. Vision became invention. Imagination became reality. And here's the part most people miss. Fear doesn't leave before you start. It leaves because you start. The only cure for fear is obedience, moving in the direction of your calling before you feel ready. So here's your declaration for this moment. I walk in obedience. I move before I feel ready. I walk as if heaven moves with me. Say it again until it's burned into you. I walk in obedience. I move before I feel ready. I walk as if heaven moves with me. This isn't hype. It's not positive thinking for the sake of feeling good. This is law. This is identity. From now on, no more hesitation. No more negotiating with the dream inside you. No more asking fear for permission. Because the moment you move, the resources begin to find you. The opportunities begin to open. Not because the world suddenly changed its mind about you, but because you changed yours about yourself.